Story time! So I was about 14, 15, somewhere in there. I was texting one of my close friends talking about this book. More like fangirling about this book. More like completely, totally freaking out about this book. I was so excited about it. It was so good. The whole series really, it's like I kind of want to reread it now just because I haven't read it since before I was in college for English, and it's like, is it still going to be as good for me now as it was back then? Because it was so good back then, and I still kind of have some affection for those characters. I mostly just want to see if I'm still like totally in love with my goofy dorky Simon and hashtag Sizzy5ever. So some of you are probably lost at this point. Either that or you just straight up clicked away. But I was talking about City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare, the then latest installment in the Mortal Instruments series. Hashtag Sizzy5ever. Seriously, as an aside, I named my ferret Izzy after Isabel Lightwood. So, here's the thing. When I was like 14, 15, I was really bad about sending texts with just stupid little typos throughout them. So I was sitting here fangirling about City of Lost Souls. Well, actually, no. To quote directly from the text message, but really, City of Lost Soups feels! Here's the thing, instead of being like, I turned it into a legitimate thing. I ended up writing this fairly decent length book description about this book that doesn't actually exist, entirely based off of this little tiny one-letter typo. It went as follows. In the latest installment of the Mortal Utensils series, Clary Frey and her best friend, Simon Lewis, are on a quest to create New York's greatest soup. Accompanied by Jace Wayland, the trio find that the soup business is dangerous. At every corner, new soup demons show up. When Clary's long-lost brother seals Jace away for his own soup company to thrive, Clary follows along in hopes of stealing away Sebastian's soup recipes. All the while, Alec and Madness debate about whether soup and chowder are the same thing or not. So Alec, feeling so strongly about the difference of soup and chowder, strikes a deal with a local vampire to suck the life from Madness. Everything's coming back to me right now. I am not okay. Hashtag Malik5ever. Eventually, Clary discovers Sebastian's secret recipe, but did she find it in time to keep him from opening his own soup store? City of Lost Soups, coming to a bookstore near you, February 31st. At this point, you've got to be wondering, Kendra, why are you sharing this with us, and why are you crying? The point is that you could have said that my typo was a little bit of a mistake, just like Alec going to was a huge freaking mistake. Why would you do that? I feel like that was a spoiler. I'm gonna silence. But despite this typo that I could have just brushed off as this was a mistake, I used it. See, in creating things, we often end up with stuff that just doesn't turn out quite right. I've been doing a lot of drawing and painting lately, if you couldn't tell based on like literally every other video on this channel. But I'm still new to it, and a lot of it just doesn't come out how I expect it to. I try not to let my art look mistake-ridden to myself. If anything, I kind of let those little oopsies guide me forward. Sometimes it helps my pieces come out better, sometimes worse. Even if they're not actually better, they are more unique. They have more of my personality and my style in it while my dog is barking in the background. I've tried to make it a habit to use my so-called mistakes to my advantage. Let them flourish a little bit. Even if it doesn't make my piece come out better, at least I saw it through until the end. Sometimes I see people make stuff and they make just this little tiny, easily fixable mistake and then they just scrap it. They don't set it aside for later, they just straight up crumple it up, throw it in the garbage, set it on fire with gasoline, and then stomp on the ashes. Not literally just like that, but hyperbole. If you're an artist doing something on commission, you kind of need to be particular about that because it's not just you. you now have this client who's expecting something that looks, you know, pretty much exact, and then you have this weird stuff going on, and that's not good. But you could still take that piece, set it aside, and do something with it later. A lot of times I try to make those mistakes into sort of prompts, ways that I can sort of reshape the piece. It's really interesting to me. I've actually seen some artists online who will actually work with younger children, and so they'll be working either directly after or at the same time, or sometimes even before younger children who are obviously still doing the very much stick figures, often even just straight up scribbles. The pieces might not be good from any like technical or realism standpoint, but they have character. They are expressive and unique and beautiful in their own ways. Mistakes, imperfections in art of all kinds, not just the visual, but all art, they create character in the piece. They make it unique and special, and even if it's not what you originally intended it to be, it is something. So go out, make mistakes, and treat them like it's something that you intended to do. Even if you didn't intend to do it, make something new out of it, like City of Lost Soup. Somebody turn that into a book. Somebody make a book trailer for it. I kind of want to do it, but I don't have friends. So go out, create things, make mistakes, and act like you meant to. Then come back here and share your mistakes with me in the comments down below. And I will see you later. Bye-bye!